Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? So we are doing a little overview of my GuildFest for this event. Of course, as you guys all probably have to know, is we are currently in the Advanced Gauntlet. Recently, they just added the Master Gauntlet. Not really too sure what's there, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. Whatever that loot is, I don't know. But I'd love to inquire to everybody that knows anything about this. Feel free to say so in the comment section below. But having that said, yeah, obviously when it comes to rewards, right? Again, this is a really tricky thing for starter players. But in my opinion, if you're starting out, stick to a gear set and then start getting the chests at a GuildFest, because that's how you get a little bit ahead. Now, in my case, I don't really need to worry about that, and I already kind of know what I want. Now, when you start picking boosts versus VIP versus chests, I like chests versus anything else. You know, here you can choose between attack boosts and all that crap. I don't really necessarily need any of that. Again, chests here kind of, you know, it's a choice between do you want a Braveheart or do you want chests. I don't really particularly care about either since it doesn't really matter to me so much, but the value here is definitely on the Braveheart. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to go for the Braveheart probably. You got talent resets here. Here you got some speeds. I just like, you know, go for the chisels, more Bravehearts. You know, here I'll probably take the gather boosts. Then, you know, this ultimately always screws most people up. I don't know, me personally, I'd love to take a chance and see what the Slayer chests will give. More speeds, because 23 is not really that much. Here is kind of a question of merging speeds versus energy, but you guys know me, energy is my king. Then, of course, more immersion. You know, the winged boots, man, all the time. Now, here, again, you know, it's like a question of the merging speeds. Now, I'm probably going to need these, so I'll just keep going down this route. Between gems versus energy. Now, this is a questionable one, to say the least, because really you're kind of having to decide between, you know, do you do 3,600 or do you do 20k times 5? So you do 100,000 or do you do 3,600 gems? Now, depending on the event, you know, on a good day, this would be worth more, but on another day, I may just want the gems. So I have them a little bit sooner, and then obviously the relocators for the end. Now, I could pick the energy, but I think I'm going to choose against it. Now, with the 15 hours and the 3 hours here, I don't know, you know, merging speeds here lately have been a real grind. And so I think it may be better to actually go and pick out some of those merging speeds out of this GuildFest instead, because I'm going to be doing a lot of packs probably here soon. So down the road, it probably makes more sense to prepare for that instead. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, that's pretty much what I chose for this GuildFest. So anyhow, of course, you know, we're talking about Guild Bash right now. Obviously, like, yeah, every time this event comes up, you know, you've always got people out there that struggle. You know, you've always got all these, you know, basically everything that nobody ever uses, donation box. Then you've got your darkness. And again, level 5s, as tricky as they may be, they can be done. You just need a lot of tier 4 for them. And again, if you're having trouble doing dark, like level 4s, level 3s, check out my video down in the description. If you really want to learn how to do darkness, because it's really not too difficult. And again, the real trick is, I think, to do a lot of level 4s and level 5 monsters during the Guild Bash event. Because really, I think quantity is king when it comes to the Guild Bash event. Because compared to hitting, like, you know, a bunch of level 1s, which is 100, versus doing like a bunch of level 4s, it's pretty easy to see there's a marginal difference there in terms of energy, but the point cost there is pretty big. No, I don't know, you know, that's obviously when it comes to efficiency, you know, energy wise, it's probably not going to be, it's not going to give you a lot of slack, you know, it's probably going to cost you more energy, but it's just the difference between having to do something more repetitive versus doing something in quantity, and that's really kind of where it boils down to. No, I don't know, you know, if anything, right? You guys have probably all known me, you know, well enough to know that I'm still building troops, guys. Pretty recently, right? And of course, like anything, I thought, well, might as well kind of talk about it a little bit. So basically, right, I went after YAG the other day, and that was a lot of fun, right? Because what I did is I went out scouting, and I kind of caught on to well, kind of a lucky spy, I guess, in some sense, right? So to begin with, this guy here, all right off the top, I knew he didn't have any troops really, didn't have a whole lot of anything, as you can tell. Like he was pretty psyched out on the empty side there, so it was like a one hit solo. Now the cool thing about this particular guy, right, is he had a lot of resources. I mean, to give you some idea, that's the kind of resources this guy had, and he was, they were trying to reinforce him and stuff, but I mean, the resources were extra plentiful, so we were able to clean that guy out. And then there was another guy, he had some timber, and I cleaned him out. Then there was this guy, he had some food, and I cleaned him out. I was just going back to back trying to clean these guys out. And then I found this guy who had 235 million. Of course, I cleaned him out. And again, it was a lot of fun, right? So, again, I wanted to show you guys gameplay of that, but I ended up not being able to because essentially, when I recorded it, I had recorded my webcam at the same time, and it just didn't seem like a really ideal thing to watch me stare. I realized that, in future recordings from now on, I'm going to record it without my camera because it's a no-go when it comes to actually going back to edit. But anyway, so on that note, right? So one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about today, and this is kind of, something that, this, I don't know, it doesn't get talked about a lot, but pretty recently, right? All right, when people are trying to do, like when you're starting out, right? One of the problems that I was noticing that some people were bringing up with me was, what exactly do you pick for the buildings down here? Because I feel like a lot of the time people kind of get this mixed up. But again, if you're really having a hard time deciding like how to start out and what to do, like for example, it's a question of, do I do my battle hall, prison, or altar? Well, in my opinion, you go battle hall first, then prison, then altar. The reason why I say that you do it in that linear order is because the battle hall is going to give you that coalition, which is going to come in handy when you're trying to do rallies. Prison is really nothing more than a little extra boost, okay, which is nice and all, but I mean, to be honest with you, you really won't get much use out of it because really by the time you do, you're going to want the altar. And by that time, I feel like by focusing on the prison and then the altar, you're kind of, in some sense, you're doing two things at the same time that are basically focused on the same thing. But you can easily do it now because you have a battle hall. It doesn't make any sense to have like a 30% troop boost, but not have a rally that you can fill up to 2 mil. That's just my 2 cents on that. Now, of course, with, obviously with GuildFest now to a completion, right? One of the things that obviously you guys have probably heard about, which is that, now you got Guild Bash and you got all these different events going on. But one of the things that you guys probably ought to know is that by the 9th, they're going to be allowing us to transmute gems. Now, if you're having a real hard time, like I said, check out the video below on Darkness. But if you're wanting to like get the best bang for your buck on the Dark Essences, the key is in the color of the essence and not so much the level of the essence. But the most part, your gold essences, which are in your level 5, essences are going to provide some of the most of the best of the best loot. Now the timers, obviously, the longer the timer, the better the loot usually. Now I'm not going to say that like 150% of the time because sometimes, for the amount of effort you put into those essences, you could just as easily do a bunch of small, like gray tier essences and eventually get to about the same. But there's kind of an efficiency scale here that if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck between doing like a bunch of green essences, which are usually between like level 3 and level 2, you could just as easily get the same kind of rewards. It just means that you got to do it more. Now, in my opinion, if you can do level 5s, didn't do level 5s and get the most bang for your buck when it comes to the essences. But again, it's just we'll talk more about it. Obviously, don't take anything of what I've said here for granted, because again, like I said, on this topic, all I can tell you is that the color is really what matters, and the timer aspect of it. Yeah, there is kind of an efficiency bit to it, but we'll get into it more later. But I don't know. If anything, though, to leave you guys off with anything else to know about. Obviously, like I said, we're hopefully going to do more rallies and stuff like that in the near future, and we'll kind of see where that takes us. But needless to say, I'm pretty much that's it for the video. So I'll catch you guys later. See you guys next time.